Hi, hello, Wiffle Nation. Welcome to episode 4 of Around the World of Wiffle. I'm your host, Carl Coffey. Let's meet that panel from Backyard Wiffle Ball League. Though they don't play in a backyard. But here's their commissioner and founder, Kevin Sickle.
Co-founder. Yo, what's up?
Representing Ridley Park, Youth Nation, Dylan Harshaw. He has the smoothest hands in the wiffle ball from Skibby. Chris Meador, and once again, he's back from Minnesota Wiffle Association, ATWOW, Skibby Wiffle Ball, and Good Eye Podcast, Trent Steffes.
Hello and hi, and welcome to ATWOW.
Okay, so Chris and Dylan are new. Guys, have you watched any episodes? Do you know how this goes? Do you know the rules? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't really give out a lot of negative points, but I might today because I'm frustrated.
It's fair.
You know? So, just be quick. Let me get my timer going. And before I do, Kevin, what's up in Pennsylvania?
Not much, man.
Not much. Who else is the co-founder?
Tom Hannon.
Oh, really? So you guys used to play in a backyard and then you didn't? That simple?
It's actually a front yard, believe it or not, how we started. So I guess we should do front yard.
What a bad name, then. Do you generally like it in the front or the back? Let's get started.
Yeah, please. Let's.
Okay. So, you all take turns going first, second, third, and fourth. First question, what makes a wiffle ball field great? Kevin Sickle, go.
Well, I think three things make a wiffle ball field great. Location, and some unique quality to it, and some character. If you have a field that people have a hard time getting to, that's going to be a problem. So it's got to be something that is easily accessible or pretty easy directions to get to for people. Number two, it's got to be unique. Can't be like anybody else's. Got to have your own set, whether it's in somebody's yard with obstructions in the way or it's something that you create on your own. And each has to have their own feel, okay? Because, going to different parks and different leagues and you kind of know when you're at a certain league's field and it just has that that nobody else's field has. So it's got to be really just unique and special in some way.
And it helps to get $10,000 from Pepsi too, right?
Yeah, I knew you were going to throw that out there, man. That's why, don't be jealous. Don't be hating.
I am jealous. It's a nice field. Dylan, go.
You got luck.
All right, so location definitely a big part. But one thing you didn't say, obviously, if you're playing competitive wiffle ball, it has to be playable. There can't be trees, hills. I know Skibby has a hill in the back, but there's at least no hill from the pitcher's mound to home plate. It's got to be flat, able to play on it. The field shouldn't affect the game of play.
What about fencing? If the fence is the same the whole way around the field, is that boring, Dylan?
Kind of boring. It's nice, like MLB parks, you get unique fencing, makes the field more unique.
So you're saying NWA tournament fields are boring?
A little bit, but I mean, it's just a pop-up fencing. They got to do what they got to do.
Chris Meador, Skibby Wiffle Ball, go.
I think that history makes a field. I don't really care about the dimensions or the location. I think what goes into building the field, like I know Skibby's built the backstop with their dad, and like everyone remembers where like the idiot new kid like stuck himself with the fence when he tried to jump over it. But I think more than location and like dimensions, the like history that goes behind building the field is the most important part.
Trent.
You can have weird fencing, you can have, unique qualities, but as long as there's an aura or a mystique around the field, like you can go down to Skibby and the Blur. There's a completely different atmosphere from JC Memorial up in Minnesota. For JC Memorial for MNWA, it's where we have our final tournament, so you know that people are going to be bringing it. And so because that, even just pulling up to Devin's house for JC Memorial, you can feel the atmosphere of the field. And I think that's what makes a good ball field.
The feel?
The feel.
What about those feels of HRL fields? Do those give you the feels?
Not really. It's a weekly. I mean, we go there twice a week for 3 months. It's more of the same.
So we're going to tackle hybrid pitching next, and it's become a phenomenon. Hessfield did it first. Leroy does it. WSCM is going to do it now. It's just means basically that there's more than one style involved, different distance, different speeds, or really strict rotation rules like Leroy does, where you can only pitch 1 inning a game. So Dylan, you're going to go first. Can hybrid pitching work for a league?
I think it can work for a league, although I definitely wouldn't use it in our league. I feel like as far as we would go in hybrid pitching is using scuff balls and non-scuff balls in the games. I feel like if you go more than that with strict rules, it's going to slow the game down in one way or another, might cause arguments, and it just kind of overcomplicates it in a way.
Yeah, but okay, Hessfield has 3 different mound distances, or they used to when they used to be a league, and it seems to work. So why can't it work for your league?
Well, I mean, it can work, but I know the way that we do it with one set distance. A lot of people practice from that distance, and we still are able to integrate new pitchers with scuff balls. It's a little bit easier for them to get into the mix, so I feel like we don't need it in our.
Matter.
I think obviously could work. People use it, but I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's kind of like the cheap way out of like leveling the playing field. Like, wiffle ball is about like different styles, and if you go to a tournament, you being good is adjusting to that style, like adjusting to fast pitch, adjusting to slow pitch, adjusting to different mound lengths, and giving you different options is basically saying, all right, you're not very good at this, so we'll give you these options, and hopefully you're good at that, I guess.
Okay, Skibby's a league that's it's not dying, it's growing. You turn people down. Is it good for a league that's dying? Because that's what basically why WSM and Hess has done.
I didn't think about that. I mean, that could. Yeah, I could see how people who want to come in want to play their style. I think it's just. I mean, I've never played in a league with it. I think it would just be hard to like regulate, like different, like at least statistically, and like what makes you valuable at that point. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a lot.
It cheapens the stats then.
Yeah, because like, what's more valuable, like a 30-foot pitcher or a 55-foot pitcher? You know.
All right, Trent, Minnesota.
You guys just brought it up there. It's the stats. I mean, as commissioner here, Kevin, what's the one thing that people bug you most about during the season? It's when are the stats going up? Absolutely. I want to see the stats. I want to be able to see how many strikeouts I had. And how do you value stats if you have 2 completely different games being played simultaneously? It's just, for me, it's too fluid, and it just, no. Stats is one of the biggest parts of wiffle ball, and that kind of makes it meaningless. So I don't know. I don't think it can work.
And Sickle, let's close it out.
I mean, like Chris said, it can work depending on your league. It's worked in Hess, and I guess for at least the time it worked at Hess. But I think if you're a long-established league, changing things up like that is quite a hindrance to your league because, like Trent said, with the stats, everybody loves the stats. And how are you to compare a league that's been around for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, whatever, playing one specific rule style, and then all of a sudden you're changing it, and in fact, not just changing, but having 2, 3, or more different styles. It's just too confusing, leads to too many arguments, and completely blows up any semblance of stat system that you have and any integrity to your stats.
So stats are the most important part of wiffle ball, Kevin.
No, but on a week-to-week basis, that's what people focus on a lot. And once their games are done, once they're done having fun, it's what are my stats? What am I hitting? How many home runs did I hit? How many strikeouts did I have? And you can't really compare that when you've got so many different styles within one league. We talk about it all the time. When we're trying to do predictions and stuff for nationals, how could you compare different leagues? Sometimes it's hard to do that. And now you're even asking people to do that within the league. So how are you even supposed to determine who the best people are in your league if you have 3 different styles of play within one league?
All right, but Dylan, is it ridiculous the rules that Leroy uses? You can only pitch 1 inning a game.
I mean, I'm not too familiar with it. Why do they do that? Did they come out and explain? Like, what was their reasoning?
They don't want pitchers dominating.
We've had our own rules in our league to somewhat modify dominating pitchers, but I mean, at the end of the day, if they're that good, they're that good. You can't just completely shut them down.
So you're saying on record, Leroy's a trash league?
I don't know.
Just kidding. The point czar has been really strict this game, so it's very low scoring so far. Dylan, Meador, and Steffes all have 3 points, and Sickle has 2. That's it.
Oh, I get host.
You guys
get host.
I know, man. I don't know. I got to talk
Sickle
to him.
always gets.
He's over there keeping score. We got 2 more questions, and leading off is going to be Chris. Some people like bare feet. Some people like normal shoes. Some people like cleats. I hope you don't wear metal cleats. Those are pretty much illegal around. So, Chris, are cleats in wiffle ball overkill?
This one's probably the easiest one. I mean, if I'm going to play wiffle ball, if I'm going to fly somewhere and play, I mean, I'm for sure going to use everything I can to my advantage. And I'm not going to slip rounding second base because I don't have spikes on. So I'm for sure an advocate for spikes on the wiffle ball field. I mean, why not? If we're gonna really be competitive, I mean, I'm definitely using spikes to my advantage.
Have you ever played wiffle ball with metal spikes?
No, but we used to allow it at Skibby.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Trent, how do you feel about cleats?
No, it's not overkill. The last thing you want to do is just show up to work the next day and say, hey, I tore my ACL playing wiffle ball. You want to protect against the stupid injuries like that. And, you know, I do. If you want to take it to another level and still not overkill, I have several different pairs of cleats depending on what sort of field I'm playing on. For HRL, we basically play on a combination of gravel and grass on top of concrete, so I can't use regular spikes because I slip on first base and then get a massive cut on my knee like happened last year. So I have to have special shoes for HRL, Skibby, NWLA. No, it's not overkill.
How do you feel about those Orbo whifflers that play barefoot?
That's weird. I don't have fun getting plantar fasciitis.
Whoa. Kevin Sickle.
Definitely not overkill. I mean, it keeps players safe in most circumstances, you know, especially if you're one of those leagues that doesn't like to cancel games. Like, we don't cancel games very rarely. So we're playing on wet surfaces. You know, the grass is wet, the earth's wet, depending on what you're playing on. I think the only place that, you know, you wouldn't really need them would be is if you're playing on a harder surface like some of the leagues play at, you know, like tennis courts, basketball courts, that sort of thing. It's definitely a safety issue, although in one case, cleats did prove to be a problem for us. You guys remember, you know, Brandon Hates thing 2 years ago. Yeah. But, again, that was a different circumstance on that turf, which isn't quite forgiving for spikes. So it really depends on the surface, but it's definitely not overkill.
And Dylan, close it out.
Yeah, I definitely agree. If you're playing competitively, there's no reason not to use spikes. The one thing I would say, though, I mean, it could be overkill if you're at, like, a family barbecue and you break out the cleats. That might be a little extra to a point, but if you're there playing competitive wiffle ball, cleats are definitely not overkill. All
right. Here we go. One more question. And, Trent, you're going to lead it off. You've all been at the NWA tournament. Dylan, he's a new guy. He never saw the Chris Galloway NWA tournament. That's too bad. you missed out. It was great. Friday night, though. It's fun, but it's kind of get redundant. So how do we spice it up, Trent? How do we make it fresh?
Well, I think one of the first things that needs to come back is the kind of social event held before the All-Star festivities. You know, when in the Galloway era we had, and I understand money, whatever, we're going to put that aside, but we had the dinner, the player dinner, so you got to sit down and eat and, you know, interact with more people than just the people you're staying in a hotel room with. But you could also make changes to the events, like a slow pitch all-star game. Guess what? Nobody wants to sit here and watch a bunch of scoreless all-star innings. We want to see that plastic get smacked. And, hello, what am I famous for in the wiffle world? Fashion show. We need a fashion show. We need guys showing off the jerseys, getting sick pictures of it, so then me and Brandon can talk about it. Fashion show 2018. Boom.
Fashion show got you negative points, but the other part got you positive points. Kevin.
I think more skill activities, would be a really cool thing. Not just, home run derby, do some pitching things, whether it's, fastest pitch, most accurate pitch from distance, something like that. Whether it's getting other goofy kind of fun things involved, with maybe like dizzy bat kind of things, a dizzy bat game, which would be really cool. Both pitching and hitting. Even Carl, you and I umpiring after dizzy bat, and that'd be interesting. Calling balls and strikes and stuff. Just some more fun things to do to kind of, break down the seriousness of the weekend when it gets down to things, come Saturday and Sunday. It's a nice, fun thing to get to everybody together, hang out, laughing, joking.
Okay, so the last thing you want to watch at a weekend full of fast pitch wiffle ball game is a fast pitch wiffle ball game to start it out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I agree.
That makes sense. Dylan.
Yeah, so like you guys said, I never saw it in its previous years, but one thing I did notice is there wasn't a social event like Trent was saying, so that'd be good if there was a way for everybody to get to know each other. Because we came in as a rookie league, not really knowing anybody, and we kind of had to figure it out on our own, which is fine. We met a lot of people, but there were still a couple teams we never got a chance to really talk to up there or anything. It would have been nice if there was something like that.
That makes sense. We did have a dinner, but it just wasn't enough,
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. You got a meal ticket when you registered. Remember?
Oh, yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, thank you.
They only had soda. They didn't give out water bottles.
It's a little bit different though. Like last time, there was a designated area to sit, and then Morenci is a little bit different. Chris, you've been to a few of these. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think integrating some sort of skills competition, but more than that, make it worth something, like fastest around the bases or hardest throw, or something that people will watch, and each league can send a representative for each individual event, and then like have a traveling trophy for each winner. That way, it's something that you can claim for a year and then defend the next year. Something that has bragging rights that you can carry over into the next year.
Would you rather have like a traveling trophy or like a Saturday morning when you show up, you have a cooler full of like 24 Gatorades?
No, traveling. I'd rather have a traveling trophy.
That's a good idea. No, I like it. The scoring czar was very strict in all 4 questions, but we have our total and we have eliminations. In 4th place, it's tough to show up as a rookie and perform. In 4th place is Dylan Harshaw. Hey, it's all right. Thanks for showing up. Any last words?
No last words.
Hey,
try better next time.
Yeah. We hope you come back. See you. In 3rd place, we missed out by 1 point. Kevin Sickle. Ugh.
Better than last time.
Kevin, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, man.
So, Trent Steffes has 8 points and Chris Meador has 7. So, Trent, you get to pick first or second in the mystery question. The question you couldn't prep for.
I'm going first.
That seems to be the right strategy.
Big time.
All right, here we go. You got a minute. Should loaded yellow bats be legal in your league? Go.
No, I don't think so. I don't even know how really that would give you an advantage in MNWA, especially because we like to pride ourselves on being a fast pitch league, and the ones who would probably benefit most from a loaded bats are the ones who are already smacking the crap out of pitchers, because we have a lot of good pitchers in this league and we have a lot of good hitters, and I don't think that the people who aren't good hitters are going to benefit a ton from a loaded bat. I think that for hitting is very, very skilled based, and it's really hard to find something that will make up for a lack of skill, and that includes the vintage yellow bats. But yeah, no, loaded bats in MNWA would be just kind of useless and a waste of money.
What about for Skibby?
Even more so in Skibby. If you can't hit like 40-mile-an-hour curveball out, then you can't hit anything out.
Fair. All right, Meador, same question.
Absolutely not. I think this is a problem going around that has to deal with like the mound, like different mound rules, different pitching rules. I think this goes hand in hand with that. We have to stop babying people and stop like giving excuses for people that are just not good at wiffle ball. So, like, if you give them a coach bat, yeah, they're going to hit some bombs. And I understand that's going to be fun for some people, but the parity's still going to be there. People who can hit are just going to rake with a corpse bat, and people who can't hit still aren't going to be able to hit, but they're going to get a hold of one or two. I just think it's giving a cop-out and a reason to baby people and, like, a participation trophy. I think it hinders a league more than it helps it.
All right, you guys agreed with each other, which sucks for the last question. But
we're friends.
Chris got 2 points at the end. He did. He got 2. And Trent, you got 3 somehow. So, Chris, any last words?
No last words.
Sorry.
Go Vikings.
Go Vikings.
Yeah.
I'm proud to be a part of this podcast.
Yeah. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I think it should turn out okay. I'll try to get a better internet connection next time. And yes, your hair looks nice.
Thank you. I appreciate it. What do you think about this?
Adorable.
I'm a cat person. See you.
See you.
Okay, Trent. Have you won before?
Yeah.
Oh. We get 30 seconds of FaceTime. Anything you want to say. If you want to plug your show on the network, go for it. Start.
All right. Well, you can listen to mine and Brandon's show, Good Eye, on the Two Wiffle Dudes podcast network. But we're past the first. 2018 has started. A lot of off-season stuff is picking up. Guys are having winter meetings. People are starting to go out and hit the ball around. But one thing I think that we should all keep in mind is that we're playing wiffle ball. Let's just have fun. And seriously, like, I realize that guys are out here trying to kind of recreate big league dreams, but if you're not having fun, then you shouldn't be playing. So to anybody watching, I just want to remind you, have fun this season. You know, that's what it's all about, going out and having fun with your friends.
There's a lot of East Coast hatred, don't you think?
Yeah, I really do. I don't know. I think I've told you before. As I get older, the competitive drive that once drove me in wiffle ball has all but gone away, and I'm really focused on having fun.
Yeah, I get it. So, for the newbies, Dylan Harshaw and Chris Meador, thanks for joining us. Kevin Sickle for failing once again, thank you. And Trent, win number 2?
Yes.
All right. So we'll talk to you next time in a month and a half, maybe 2 months. Who knows? I don't know.
Okay.
All right. So